Everyone's light is my light, and everyone's hope is my hope. These were the kinds of things that stuck with me ever since I was 10, because I had just finished watching Digimon Adventure. And lately I've been thinking about why. Why do I still remember Digimon so well? Why do I find myself wanting to experience it again, even today? Especially when considering their multi-million-dollar competitors and their shot at an animated series. I can't even compare the two, since said competitor only managed to keep me watching for a year before I wanted to gouge my eyes out. And since we're talking about a 10-year-old kid, that's saying something, given Digimon is a kid's show. One that in recent years looks a lot more of a cash grab to me than it did before. I mean, just take a look at Cross Wars. Hish. And realistically speaking, it was always designed to be that. You know, just like the Pokemon anime was. Just a huge advertisement for toys. And a series like that can only go so far, right? I mean, it's not like the writers are gonna put their soul into the work for something that's supposed to be more of an ad than an actual series. Then why was Digimon different? Why do I still love it so much? Why do I still care? Why do I still look forward to hearing anything new about it? So I went back to it. Yeah. And I loved every minute of it. Of course, nostalgia was there. And you have to treat it like, yeah, okay, this is meant for children. But it actually made me wish that if I ever have kids, that they could watch this too. I'm getting old. Now, I'm not gonna say that the people behind the anime weren't interested in the merchandising side of it, or anything like that, because it was kind of a culture in those late 90s, but they did a damn good job at keeping that barely noticeable. Yeah, call me nostalgia blind if you want, but I was honestly moved by how much each character is unique when compared to the others. How they're frequently put in like different pairings, where both kids have a distinct point of view on how they're gonna handle a sad situation or sad adversity. And when the ideals clash, they either just get in a fight or just throw a tantrum, but ultimately they settle their differences and learn empathy towards each other. And looking from the other perspective helps them learn aspects that they should apply to themselves, building their character and, you know, helping them to become a better person. And I love how they're just kids, because they do what kids do. They fight, they cry, they learn, they dream, they apologize, and they become friends. And I love how even the partner Digimon, they have their own quirks and personality traits, which are a perfect fit for their respective child. You see, every kid has this trait that they're supposed to develop. Stuff like friendship, hope, or light, and the Digimon perfectly reflect that quality. Koromon is always taking the lead and trying to protect everyone. Tentomon is always trying to find the smart solution. And there's no Digimon that's a better friend than Gabumon. Just think about what he goes through with Mr. Edgemat over here. Also, it might look like the Digimon only digivolve when they're trying to protect their partner, but I think the moral is a little bit deeper than that. If you pay close enough attention, the growth of the partner Digimon, or digivolution as we call it in the West, is intimately linked to the development of that child's specific trait. When Tai stands up against Xiaomon and demonstrates courage, Agumon evolves. In the beginning, Piamon just can't get enough of Sora, and it kinda makes her want to shove it aside and be like, Piamon, dude, give me some space. So it's not until she realizes how much she actually cares about Piamon and demonstrates that love that the evolution happens. And then there's Izzy, which downright hacks Tentomon into making it evolve. Now, if that's not a demonstration of pure knowledge, I don't know what is. No, seriously, this kid carries the whole team sometimes. If it weren't for him, they probably wouldn't know what the hell was going on, ever. Or even TK pulling out the shonen protagonist card and being everyone's last hope multiple times. This is another one that piggybacks the team at times. Yep. The 7-year-old. I know he looks 4, but he's actually 7. I looked it up. Trust me. I didn't remember, but Devimon actually powers up with the whole Black Gears plot device. And Angemon absorbs everyone's light or whatever. So then Devimon goes, Angemon, you're gonna sacrifice yourself now just to get wrecked in the next continent by a freaking naked monkey with sunglasses. Beats dying now, bitch. Hand of fate. Where Angemon actually dies. Except he doesn't, because it's a kid's show. He just gets reborn. And they head off to a new continent. I kinda appreciate the writers at least thinking ahead that there might be more to the adventure than just the first 13 episode season. Because I don't know how much they expected this to be a success or not. Another thing I loved is that even though the Digimon are the ones doing the actual fighting, the kids still remain relevant and important as their allies. Since the success of the battles resonate with how much the kid has improved and developed their character. They go from their comfort zone to a desolate digital wasteland where at first they just need to survive. In the beginning they only complain and fantasize about going back home, but as they go through the thick and thin together, they prevail, figuring out that it's not just about them, they have a world to save. And when they do, in the end, they're the ones that got the most out of it. This is the perfect thing for a kid to watch. I mean, if it's gonna teach my kid that learning from others and becoming a better person is what you're supposed to do in life, then yeah, sure, give me the damn Tamagotchi, I'll buy it for him too. It's a simple structure. Episode focuses on a kid or a pair of kids. Kids get character development, Digimon digivolves, saves the day, rinse and repeat. It does change it up a lot in the last story arcs though, focusing a lot more on how the character still needs to grow rather than just an excuse for a digivolution to happen, since most of them already did happen. Except for maybe Magna Angemon at the end, but who cares, we all wanted to see that, and it's done at the right time. And personally, the episodes that focus on Izzy would be my favorites, because he's like the one that finds out the secrets, the lore, and the deep stuff. Like for example, where the hell they are in the first place. I remember him telling everyone, we're in the Digi world. We're in a parallel world to our own, made by data taken from the cyberspace. What? Wait, what? Oh, yes! Digimon was an isekai all along. Cracks me up because it just makes Tai go apeshit. Like, what does it matter? If we just die, our bodies are outside in the real world or something like that. And that's when we get the classic truth bomb. If you die in the digital world, you die for real. What? Not so brave now, huh, Mr. Crest of Courage? After all the Edamon shenanigans is when my favorite episode happens. Episode 21, where they bring the director from the first 2 Digimon movies, and the animation budget just magically skyrockets. Besides getting introduced to Kari, I don't really know why they put this episode in here, since the movie they reference in the episode where Tai and Kari meet Agumon for the first time happened like 4 months earlier, and the next Digimon movie would happen like a year later. So there doesn't seem to have any promotion type reasoning behind it, meaning it's probably just an homage to the early lore of the series, which makes me appreciate it even more. They just gave us this cool episode with a badass director for no real reason, and that's just awesome, thank you. After that, the routine picks up again, where the Digimon are now evolving into their ultimate forms. And in my opinion, it's done a little bit worse than in the first time, with the exception of Sora, which she gets some really cool backstory. She herself is placed in the shoes of her mother when trying to protect Biyomon, finally understanding her parents, which not only makes it so satisfying to see Garudamon formed from that bond, but is a lesson that every kid needs to learn. Gosh, sound like my dad. The point I'm trying to make is that the writer actually cared. The episode wasn't about selling Digimon, it was about teaching something. Good on you. But more than anything, the anime has some crazy memorable moments. Like frickin' Myotismon. It's just a vampire. There goes one. And that one. I'm getting convinced he was just Dio Brando all along. And some other events that I'll never forget include, but are not limited to, Gatomon and Kari becoming partners, Wizardmon's sacrifice, and the best battle on a kid's show ever made. The Fuji TV building, the sphere-shaped thing, Wargreymon just power kicks it straight into Venom Myotismon's crotch, just for the disrespect. It's like teabagging. With a TV broadcasting company building that is as hype as this show could possibly get. No, seriously, now I want to go to freaking Odaiba, Japan just to take a photo with the building that killed Myotismon. Putting aside all that fun part, when talking about story writing, do you know in the hero's journey when you come back to the place you started from but now you're a different person? Watching this again, Digimon's spin on it got me intrigued. Being that for the kids it's been forever, but for everyone else it's been like a day. And since the characters changed so much in the Digi world, they're ready to confront things that they've been keeping inside or problems that they've been avoiding with their families or friends. But again, to the parents and family, it's only been one day, which shocks the parent characters and gives them that they grew up so fast feeling. That even we can understand without being parents, because we've been with the kids, we saw them change, and it's awesome to see that apply in their actual lives, and not just in some other world. But more than that, it brings the parents into the story as actual prominent characters. You see, in the hero's tale, you have to get rid of the parent figures so that the protagonist can go out and adventure. And as a kid, I remember watching all these types of anime or cartoons and thinking, that's never gonna happen to me because I have parents, I can't go out and do stuff. It used to piss me off, but Digimon just made it sound right because, well, the parents are still there and, you know, they're not gonna let you do dangerous things. But rather than being just a nuisance or irrelevant to the plot, the parents actually have character development. They understand what their kids are doing, and in fact, they have their own role to play in accepting that their kids are heroes and actually helping them to save the world. Unlike some moms who are irrelevant to the plot and only call their children to remind them how miserable they are that they can never win anything. I mean, heck, even Mimi's dad does something! Mimi's dad! And while we're on the topic of memorable moments, the Puppetmon part in the Dark Masters arc, which is the last part of the story when the Digidestined go back to the digital world to finish the job. In this arc, TK is a bomb. boss. Puppetmon kidnaps the kid and just goes all death game on him. Balls of steel 7-year-old. Literally almost got shot like 3 times. But he keeps it cool, calm, patient, collected. He actually has the psyche to get a good read on Puppetmon's childish and immature personality, managing to outwit the young Dark Master and ruining the dude's plot with his puppet power voodoo doll thingies, saving the whole gang in the process. And get this, after getting universally praised by everyone, because of that, Matt just goes downright emo git, since now he thinks that even Tai is a better brother than him because he actually believed in TK. And see here, you might think that he was actually tricked by this tree mustache thing to fight Tai, but Gabumon explicitly tells him, bro, this is a trap. Wake up. And he does say, yeah, this could be a trap, but no, me and Tai need to fight. I need to punch his stupid face to find out who I am. Seriously, at this point, he was just looking for any excuse to beat the shit out of Tai. Period. And Tai did give him a lot of crap before, so guess he had it coming? And they actually go at it for like a whole episode before Tai finally tells him, are you an idiot? Digimon died for us to be here. You're trying to fight me? The only other mega level! Which then he finally stops and goes, whatever. I'm gonna go find my own path or something. But they do get a good development and he comes around eventually. And he's actually the one that delivers the final blow to Puppetmon. And this death scene, I'll never forget it. You see, Puppetmon, he never had friends because he was, well, a prick. And the mustache tree guy tells him, listen, those kids have something you don't. And as Metal Garurumon Frost blasts him to death, he regrets. He never understood what he lacked because he never knew what friendship was. And in irony, the one that actually kills him is the bearer of the crest of friendship. And then his gears slowly stop turning and his eyes fade into darkness. Damn, this still gets me. I really like this ending arc. Matt learns how to be a little more like Tai, trust in his friends and rely a little more on people. And Tai does see Matt's side of things a little bit better, and does become more protective and mindful of everyone else, especially his younger sister. Oh, and Kari is established as the Digimon Messiah. Look at this, she starts glowing randomly, loves all Digimon and all Digimon love her. She frees them from the bonds of slavery. I feel bad for her sometimes. She's the one that's used to convey the will of the digital world or something like that. I think it's what Hackmon calls homeostasis later. But not just her. Every Digidestined finds something that only they can do. Everyone that needs to face a fear, make a decision, or find themselves does it. And going back to what I talked about in the beginning of the video, after facing the Dark Masters and emerging victorious, the show leads up to the shonen-esque conclusion that is Apocalypse, which deals with a very deep concept, at least comparing to the rest of the show, and considering that this is something for a younger demographic. He is the Digimon that represents every other Digimon that was destroyed, every other Digimon that could have been saved if they had a partner like the main ones do. An amalgamation of regret or ill feelings like injustice, revenge, etc. Apocalypse self-mutilates itself in sheer hatred and swears to eliminate the Digidestined in its anger. It gave me even now a huge feeling of despair because he just ups and deletes everyone. That's pretty OP. And this is where the beauty of it all is. It's where the moral of the story comes into place, is that their partnership with the Digimon and with each other isn't something that can just be deleted like that. Their memories, their bonds, they transcend time and space, digital and analog. They weren't the only ones to develop their respective traits. TK's hope is actually everyone's hope put together, and vice versa. That being the same for everyone else in their crest. And nothing could beat them after what they've been through. With their job done, it was time to say goodbye. And now, as an adult, I finally think I understand why Digimon's ending is so sad. Why they have to leave their best friends behind, even after all they've been through. It's about growing up. We eventually do need to leave our childhood. We can reminisce, but we can't go back. It's inevitable. Eventually, we all face that reality. But those fun moments and precious memories, nothing can take that away. It'll always be there. At least we had that, and it just makes us better today for it. That's something I actually learned by watching this as a 29-year-old. Even if just one, there was a message from an adult writer to another adult. Now, more than ever, I think Digimon Adventure is the best show I watched when I was a kid. At least the show that I took the most out of. Probably more than I think. I even remember thinking as a kid that if I wanted to lead someday, I needed to be like Tai. I wanted his courage. I wanted to love like Sora, know like Easy, hope like TK, work hard like Joe, have true friends like Matt, help people like Kari, and sometimes just cry my heart out like Mimi. Sure, my parents always taught me those were good qualities, but media influences children a lot. I'm glad this was one that influenced me. That has no price. That's probably why it stayed in my heart until today, and why I still always want to know more about Digimon. But I did grow up, all of us did. And if you've been watching, well, almost anything in my channel, I feel we should always keep liking what we do. But when we actually see things that grew up with us, constantly changing and appealing to us in different ways and in different manners, definitely makes up my favorite of experiences. And Digimon, well, let's ignore the existence of Cross Wars for now, and see that it feels like a series that at least is trying to grow with me. But I'd love to go deep about that in the next video.